Hi guys, so today I'm going to be demoing this really cool little amp. It's a 1 watt Randall Diavlo. It's got an 8-inch speaker. It's got gain, tone and volume controls with a tone stack switch, I'll get onto that later. And what's really cool about this amp, for the size of amp anyway, is that it's got an effects loop and a speaker output, so you can drive a 1x12 or 2x12, or if you're feeling ambitious, even a 4x12. Anyway, the reason why I was interested in this amp in particular was I do a lot of recording, and in my mix I like to have two very complementary guitar sounds. So I'll usually use the dual Terror, the orange dual Terror, which is very much a rock amp, and then I'll combine it with something like this, a modern kind of high gain metal sound. Now the designer that did all the circuitry for these amps is Mike Fortin, and he's got his own range of amps, sort of boutique amps. Now he's done the circuitry of these amps, and they have a certain flavour to them, a certain sound, certainly with palm muting and kind of chuggy metal sounds. It's got a really grinding kind of tone to it, which is pretty brutal, to be honest. And it would be interesting to see if, say, the 1 watt amp could live up to its sort of big brother standards. Can you get that kind of high gain tone out of a 1 watt amp? So let's find out. So for this final part of the video, I'm just going to go through the controls on the amp. So starting with the gain, everything that I've recorded so far in the video has been maxed out gain. You're not going to get as much gain as maybe the big brother amps, you know, the other Diavlos, because they have a booster inbuilt into the amp, so you can just get that super sort of saturated gain. Although I will say that for all the recordings I've done so far, well, the gain's been quite alright for what I've had to use it for, especially for rhythm stuff. So I'll just show you turning down the gain. Now you're not really going to get a usable clean out of this. You can sort of get it clean. I put it onto single coils, just put the volume on the guitar down a tiny bit. And this is what you get. that's it with the humbucker. As you can tell, the volume's dimed out, the gain's down here, and there's not really much you can get out of it. I mean, I suppose it's usable in a, you know, if you're desperate and you haven't got another amp, you could record with that that sort of level of clean. So let's turn that volume down and then just boost the gain a bit, sort of more of a rock level. So as you can tell, it's still got that metally tone, but you know, as soon as the gain starts to get around this sort of level, you can start hitting those power chords and really getting that beef out of it. So let's just dime out the gain. I find that's the most useful setting, to be honest. So let's have a look at these tones. I found it to be this position the most useful for me, but let's just try from the sort of leftmost setting and go to the rightmost setting. Really muffly. So it goes from very muffly to really bright, unusably bright. Let's just keep it up at that sweet spot there. Okay, so volume, it'll go loud enough to perhaps annoy the other people in your house, but that's about it. Okay, so this tone stack thing that we were talking about earlier on, that basically changes the voicing of the amp. You can get very much a rock tone out of it if you put it to the leftmost setting. And then in the middle setting you get the most usable sort of all-round setting. And then I find this the most useful recording because it's really what I got the amp for. So some of you might be just curious what the 8-inch speaker sounds like built into the amp, and to be honest, in my opinion, it's only really usable as a sort of practice amp. You know, if you're going around to jam with your friends or something. Here he goes anyway. So there you have it. It's a really cool little amp for getting that modern metal sound. If you have a cab, I recommend putting it through that, because then you'll get that bottom end and definition for your recordings. The 8-inch speaker isn't really much use for anything but taking it around to a friend's house and jamming. It's not going to compete with a bigger amp. Now, there are 5-watt versions, 20-watt versions, 45 and 100 watt for those big gigs. And I know that there's quite a few other Randall amps that have that mic 14 sound, so check them out as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you like it.